Very good morning and good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the WCS version migration webinar from version 7 to version 8. My name is Krish, and I'm your host for today. And I'll be joined along with Mr. Kumar for this webinar. And before we get started with the webinar, I would like all participants to participate in a quick poll providing details about your roles and responsibilities in your organization and how they are related to WCS. I have initiated the poll, and you can select any one option from the available 4 options on your screen. All right, I can see most of you have participated in the poll, and thank you very much for your inputs. And now let us move ahead with our discussion. Coming to the agenda of this meeting, first I would like to discuss about Incresol on who we are and what we do. Following that, the discussion will be on new features of WCS version 8 and their benefits, migration paths from version 7 to version 8, planning of migration phases, and Mr. Kumar will walk you through the migration methodologies. We'll conclude this meeting with a questions and answers session, and I would like to request all the participants to type your questions using the questions tab in your meeting panel as and when you come across any questions. And coming to Incresol, Incresol stands for Incredible Solutions. And Incresol is a growing global technology services company which is incorporated in 2011, and we are based out of Charlotte in North Carolina. Backed by a team of IT evangelists with latest industry experience, we are helping mid and large entities build incredible solutions that foresee future and also enhance their business. I would like to highlight here that we have strategic partnerships with IBM and SAP, and also some of our other solution companies related to SAP and e-commerce. Coming to the service offerings of Incresol, we specialize in offering services on e-commerce and ERP solutions. Regarding e-commerce, our services include development, customization, migration, maintenance, and support on multiple platforms like IBM WCS, SAP Hybris, and Magento. Our service offerings on ERP solutions like SAP include development, customization, integration, migration, upgrades, maintenance, and support. And we also did many integrations between e-commerce and ERP inventory management systems. Our other service offerings include custom application development services like Java and .NET, enterprise mobile application development, and we are also specialized in the development of e-commerce and ERP related mobile applications. Using these service lines, we have been working for more than 5 years with enterprise firms from multiple industry verticals like retail, manufacturing, fashion, utilities, hospitality, media and entertainment, and others. In the last 5 years, we have expanded our operations to USA and Brazil from India, and this year we also have plans to expand our presence to Europe and Australian regions as well. Coming to our research collaboration, we strongly believe that research is a key point for innovation, and we have an in-house team to perform research activities on the latest trends and technologies. We also collaborated with some of the top-tier universities in India from IIT and NIT to get fresh ideas and research activities related to typical issues of business. Also, we are used to conducting workshops for students on emerging market trends and help them in maturing the startup ideas. Now I would like to take the discussion forward on why you have to migrate to WCS version 8 and what are its benefits. Coming to the benefits of migrating to WCS version 8, first I would like to highlight here that WCS version 8 runs on latest technology stacks like Java 1.7 or 1.8 and the WebSphere application server 8.5, HTTP server 8.5 along with WebSphere Commerce 8. This will enable the system to get updated with the latest up-to-date IBM technologies and softwares, which will ensure the site to run smoothly and efficiently. One of the key advantages of WCS version 8 claimed by IBM is performance. The overall performance improvement observed on the same hardware, which is used for the older versions, could be around 30% more. And whereas coming to some specific pages like checkout and search, there is even 70% improvement observed in our recent accomplishments. Hence, we can consider this as a major performance improvement. Apart from performance, we can also consider maintenance as a key advantage. Some of you might know in WCS version 7 Feature Pack 4, to achieve the device compatibility, it had separate web stores for desktop, mobile, and tablet. But from Feature Pack 7, Aurora Store has been introduced with the responsive web design feature. This responsive web design feature is also enabled in WCS version 8 with added improvements, and this also helps us in avoiding multiple store maintenance. Hence, we can say that the maintenance will become much easier as it requires maintaining only a single web store which is cross-device compatible. And moving forward, the CSR module, which was a better replacement for Sales Center, gives a buyer-like experience to service representative for assisting customers to manage their cart and checkout process. The Management Center is completely redesigned using dynamic HTML and Spring Framework. Earlier, it was on OpenLasso integrated with Struts Framework. WCS version 8 has enabled REST APIs for catalog management and order management. This will help in expanding better integration options as per business requirement. And now I would like to initiate a quick poll for all participants to just update the details about the current version of WCS you're using. I have initiated the poll. You can see the 4 options on your screen and you can choose any one among the 4. Thank you for your inputs, and let us move ahead with our next topic, that is migration paths from version 7 to version 8. Migration from any WCS version to version 8 is possible. And from WCS version 7 Feature Pack 6 or prior, adoption of Feature Pack 7 search architecture is required. And during the migration process, scripts and utilities will be migrated as is. And new store features will have to be adopted manually through code migration. And to manage risk, we generally recommend lift and shift migrations based on the possibility. Now let's go ahead with migration planning and the roadmap. Coming to migration phases. So far we have discussed regarding the benefits and possible migration paths. Now let us proceed for migration planning and the roadmap. In the lift and shift migration, we recommend to plan the migration projects in 4 phases. The first one is analysis and test migration phase, followed by planning and preparation phase. Then comes the realization phase, in which we perform the actual migration and tests. And finally, it will be the go live preparation or go live phase. Coming to the analysis and test migration phase. This is a very crucial and critical phase which will decide the final outcome. And some migration projects can get prolonged over a year due to lack of proper analysis and planning. This phase mainly comprises of dependency identification, prediction of possible risks and planning for the timely completion of the project. Here I would like to emphasize better the analysis phase, more positive the results of the migration. Also, during analysis, we have to make sure that we have complete knowledge related to application, systems landscape, and integrations involved. This helps in identifying the dependencies and possible impacts which needs to be taken care. We also need to get hold of the customizations involved that need special attention. Along with the new features provided in the new versions, we also need to concentrate on the deprecated functionalities. Scripts like data loads, build and deploy needs to be migrated and needs an eye during the analysis phase. In addition to what we have discussed in the analysis phase, it is always a good idea to know the existing issues in the application. This will help in avoiding unwanted troubleshooting of issues during the migration. In this phase, we should also identify the demand for new infrastructure and plan accordingly. Key success contributor to any migration project is timely availability of infrastructure. Once the analysis is completed, we would suggest to perform a test migration to understand the possible roadblocks, dependencies, to estimate the timelines of migration with better accuracy. In general, time consumed for simple to medium and complex implementations, it is around 3 to 4 weeks of time. But these timelines may vary based on the complexity of the environment. Now let's move ahead with the planning and preparation phase. Planning plays a vital role in execution of any project. Better the planning, lesser will be the impact on the business. In this phase, the migration team will get the clarity on the concrete timelines. Here, with the knowledge obtained from the analysis phase, we need to identify all the required infrastructure, milestones, team structure, and the coordinated activities required. The most important thing one should remember is that migration takes place on a separate infrastructure and it is not possible to migrate on the same server where the old system production environment exists. So, infrastructure should be made available by end of this phase to get into migration realization phase. Now, coming to migration and testing phase, once everything is set with the analysis and planning, we can now proceed to migration and testing phase where the actual migration activities take place. We start the process with the migration of developer commerce system. Here, the commerce developers will come into picture and identify the code and other customization related issues and do the needful adjustments. Meanwhile, we can continue migrations related to dev, QA, and staging environments. Once the servers are migrated and adjusted and built for WCS version 8 is ready, we can proceed with the regression testing in QA or staged environments to ensure the system stability. Now coming to dev and QA environments. This section is a bit technical, but I would like to give a very high level and quick understanding of migration steps. A typical migration of a server involves preparing the operating system to the required level of WCS version 8 and installing the same DB software used in the old system with the required versions, install the prerequisite softwares and plugins like WAS 8.5 or above, HTTP Server 8.5 or above. and apply the required fix packs to the prerequisite software and maintain the JVM level to 1.7 or 1.8. Then install the Commerce suite and enable the links between WAS and HTTP servers. Then you can proceed with the installation of the mod packs or fix packs of Commerce suite to bring it to the latest stable release. And also you can go ahead and create the Commerce instance with the same name as the old instances. Then you can proceed with the installation of the search component and enable the link between search component and WAS and web servers. Then we can go ahead with the restoration of 7.x system DB to 8.x database. Use the migration utility and migrate the database to old database. Then we can deploy the migrated customizations performed in the developer commerce to dev or QA servers. We can then go ahead and migrate the commerce search for REST or Vault framework as per the topology and use migrate SOLR search utility to migrate the search indexes. Then we can migrate or adjust the WebSphere Commerce Server to the new environment. Update the sites table with the required 8.x values. And coming to the migration and testing phase, the go-live preparation requires significant amount of time as it involves new setup of production environment and required cluster setup. As this happens on a separate infrastructure, will not experience any downtime. We also need to be prepared with a rollback plan to handle the unforeseen situations. Now everything will be set to go live. There is a possibility to minimize the downtime by switching the new environment to the live production database and then perform the DB migration. After the DB migration, we will switch the URL to the new environment, and in case if any DNS propagations are involved, it will generally take 4 to 24 hours of time. Now I would like to pass on this discussion to Mr. Kumar, and he'll walk you through the migration methodologies. Mr. Kumar, it's all yours. Thank you.
Yeah, so for Sandeep explained more about how the migration project should be planned, or how exactly it should be executed during the migration testing phase, and how we should plan our go live. So to execute the migration project, we need to find out or adopt the right methodology. So I would like to give a brief about a couple of methodologies that we suggest to our customers based on the business need or the limitations that they are having. Okay, so here it's like we are proposing a couple of methodologies. Like one is a code freeze oriented approach and minimized code freeze approach, and another methodology is related to the limitations. It's like minimized infrastructure based approach. Okay, so there should be a proper planning required for the migration projects, because they are going to hold the developments or major projects till during the migration project timeline. So it is always recommendable to plan the major projects either before the migration starts, or conclude before the migration start itself, or plan after the migration project. So if there is any delays or any unforeseen blocks happens in the migration, and it's because of that there may be a chance of impact on the business, to minimize that impact on the business, we are recommending the minimized code freeze approach, where there will be parallel landscapes will be built. The existing landscape of the version 7.x will be kept as it is, and we'll build a new environment on the separate infrastructure for the version 8, so that if anything goes wrong, or if there is any unforeseen delays in the project, but that will ensure that the business continues on the old environment and the projects can kick off on the old environment as it is. Okay, so here it's like in case of the minimized code freeze approach, we are observing like around 4 to 6 weeks or 4 weeks of code freeze time. It's like hard code freeze time, I can say. But till the go live phase, we can say that we can enable the developments, or we can enable the production fixes or minor CR changes, or the any major projects till the end of relation phase, we can enable in the minimized code freeze approach. But in case of minimized infrastructure approach, it is like where the customers are having limitations related to their infrastructure, like they don't have the additional infrastructure required to start the migration, and they want to continue in the existing infrastructure only. Then it's a rare occasion, but it's like in the current era of data centers and cloud environments, it may not occur that commonly, but some cases we observe this type of situation as well. So in that case, what we need to use is we need to utilize the extra systems and available in the landscape. Like we can run the current version of 7.x in the staging and production only, and we can remove the dev and quality systems and recycle them for the migration. Like we'll remove the dev and quality servers from the environment, and let the production fixes flow directly to the directly to the staging server, and from there it test in the staging server, and after that it can be propagated to the production system. But this approach is not that much recommendable if you have high number of changes happens in your environment, or frequent changes or frequent enhancements happens in your environment. In case of less number of changes, or it's like no changes cases, we generally recommend this minimized infrastructure approach. Okay, and another important thing we should consider if a customer would like to go with the minimized infrastructure approach is, okay, sorry, so I'm slowing up myself. Okay, in the case of minimized infrastructure approach, we strongly recommend the customers to plan all their development projects or major development projects which are in progress to be concluded before the migration starts, or before the migration project starts, so that there won't be any dependency on the migrated environments. So by that they can minimize the impact on the business, okay, or they should find the right time to start the migration project based on their business priorities. Okay, let me try to explain you or show you the small simulation we have developed, how this both the approaches works, and when exactly the code freezes happen. Code freeze in the sense there are like hard code freeze, as well as like there are it's like development or the development project or the CR project code freeze. So let me show you through that one, those slides. Okay, here in this presentation we have divided into the two parts. One is the infrastructure representation and code build representation. Okay, how the build or the development activities progress, and the infrastructure. And the top section, it represents the timeline of the project. We divided the project timeline into the weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3, and like in general, we observe that 18 to 20 weeks of timeline for our migration projects. So that's why we kept the scale of 21 weeks over here. So the existing landscape is looking like it has a development, quality, and staging and production systems, and there are changes related to CR and changes related to major development projects, and there can be another channel of production fixes or emergency fixes. Okay, we are divided into the changes into the two sections: CR or major projects, and production fixes. So in this presentation, in this next sections, I am going to highlight at what phase of the project which development activities are going to be frozen. So during the first 4 weeks of the project, the migration project, there won't be any code freeze or anything, because it is majorly the analysis phase. Okay, so the first 4 weeks, the analysis and understanding of the systems, and the integrations involved in the system, and any custom features developed, or any required, it's like code asset movements or the migrations. We'll take all the notes related to the migration, and also we'll take the notes related to any new functionalities to be implemented as part of the migration or post-migration. So during the first 4 weeks, there won't be any code freeze. Okay. So we'll introduce a new dev server in the landscape. Okay, for the version 8.x. So we'll go ahead with the installation of version 8.x in this new dev server, and it may take around 3 to 4 weeks of time, because it's the first server in which we are doing the migration for the existing environment. So any difficulties or any roadblocks we can see in the dev server migration. So that's why it is going to take around 3 to 4 weeks, or sometimes in case of complex environments, it may take around 6 weeks, so that we can overcome all the roadblocks or any difficulties we come across during the migration. And this will be the learning point for the next level of system migration, like quality system migration or staging and production system migrations. So during the dev system migration, there is no impact on the development activities. They will continue as it is, and end of 8th week, we are expecting that this dev server migration to be completed. And once the dev server migration is completed, then we will go ahead with the building the quality server with version 8.x and perform the needful adjustments in this system. And it is going to take around 3 weeks, okay, as we come across all the difficulties in the dev server. So its QoS server migration is going to be a bit easier one compared to the dev server. So after that, we'll go ahead with once the quality server migration is completed, that's around 11th week, okay. So during this phase, okay, it's like from week 5 onwards, or week 6 to week 11, or in this phase, the administration, systems administration team proceed with the server migrations, and commerce developer team use it to do the required code or required code adjustments or other required assets adjustments compatible for the version 8. So once the quality system is migrated, now the next step is the testing phase. So we need to make sure that the system or the migrated code or modified code compatible for version 8 is stable and working as it is compared to the current environment. So as the testing phase is getting started, so before that we would recommend to complete all the major developments in the current landscape, like CRs or any projects going on. Better to conclude all these projects by this time. So till week 11, there is no stopper on the CRs and projects, but by that time it is better to hold all these or conclude all these projects and put a full stop to the CR projects. So this is what we have highlighted here. You can see it here, like freeze the development of CR or new developments till migration project completes. So this is, I can say that we are still open with the production fixes, okay, because if there are any emergency fixes or any changes required, they are still open, that can move forward, but we should avoid the CR or any new developments to avoid the testing activities, or it's like to come up with the stable build for version 8. So once we freeze the code of the CRN projects, we should take the code synchronization between current landscape and the new landscape. Like the code or the developments happened from the week 1 to week 11 in the current landscape and move to the production in this time period. We need to synchronize these changes to the or synchronize these changes with the migrated code. It involves some manual efforts. Wherever it's required, we need to do we can merge automatically also, but wherever the code is modified as part of version 8, we need to do the manual merging activities. Once the code synchronization completes, then we can perform a sanity test in the development environment. And once if everything is stable or merging is working perfectly, then we can pass the build for the regression testing. Okay, so regression test, we are assuming that it's going to take around 2 weeks of time for the simple environments, but in case of huge modifications or major modifications in the version 8, code level modifications, in that case it may take more time because the test requires more testing activities involves in that case. So, but in general, it may take around 2 to 4 weeks of time, and once. So during this regression testing phase, we can go in parallel building the staging environment. The staging environment, it's like because the testing track goes in parallel, and the staging environment, building the staging environment goes parallel. So this will take around 2 to 3 weeks time, because already the quality, we got the good experience about the landscape and the issues and all. Based on the learnings from dev and quality server migrations, we can build the staging environment easily. But there are some additional steps involved for staging environment, which requires a connectivity with the production and all. We need to do some extra setup, but they are not much time taking. Okay, so during the regression test phase, we'll build the staging environment, and we'll prepare that ready for the end user testing or business user testing. So once regression testings are signed off or the migration vendors sign off their tests and get ready with the build for the business user acceptance, then what we need to do is we will prepare the staging and we'll deploy the it's like latest build in the staging environment for business user approvals. And we are assuming that it's going to take around 2 to 4 weeks of time for the staging environment or business user tests, okay, based on the time availability. And this is one of the critical phase of the project, because in most of the projects, we observed that the dedication from the business user team or priority of the tests from the business user team is very critical. If they delay anything during this testing phase, business user testing phase, it is going to impact the complete project timelines. So it is better to plan properly the business user testing phase to optimize the time window required for this phase, so that we can optimize the total migration timeline. And during the while business users are testing in the staging environment, there's a time to prepare the production environment, as it is a separate infrastructure for production. So we will first build one production server. It's a primary production instance with the on version 8, and after that we will take the build from the we'll take the live database. It's like from the current live production system, we'll take the database backup and restore it to the new production database. Okay, so after restoring, IBM has given migration utilities, DB migration utilities. We're using that. We'll build the production environment. It's like we'll run the DB migration utilities to import the database to the production environment. There's a new production environment, and after that, we'll take the stable build from the staging, or say propagate the build from staging to the production. And once there is nothing but we have the stable build in the production as well as the database also migrated, and it's the time to perform the sanity tests in the production environment. So we should verify the production system stability. Okay, so just before verifying the production system, I forgot to say we need to hold the production fixes from this phase. Once the production system preparation is done, then we need to stop all the code activities in the current environment, because we are going to prepare the production system for live. So it is better to avoid all emergency changes as well as any other development activities in the old environment. So this is a hard code freeze time. We can say that no more developments are accepted in this period. So we are almost ready for the live, and we build the production environment and we enable the required high availability and all. So after that, it depends on, it's like it's maximum of 1 week time. For some customers, it's a simple environment. It may take a few days, 1 or 2 days or 3 days time. But in case of complex environment or complex clusters, it is going to take a week time approximately. So effectively, we can say in this approach, the hard code freeze time is 1 week, and for development, for the developments or CR code freeze time is around 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, so production system is stable and ready with the stable build, and we got all required sign-offs and time to go live. So once we are stepping into the go live phase, so we need to down the current environment. It's like live production server, and take the database backup from the latest database backup from the current production system. But it's always advisable to take the required backups of the current production application or production database before taking before going live. So we need to down the current production environment, take the latest database backup and restore it to the new production environment. And after that, after restoring the new production database to the new production environment, run the migration utility to set the required settings related to the migrated database. And after that, we'll perform one round of sanity test in the final production environment. If everything is okay, no go live duration, we'll take it. And if everything is okay, we'll move further with the URL switching. We'll switch the website to the new production environment. In case of any unforeseen situations, we should roll back. It's like we should up the old production environment and replan the go live based on the situation. So once the go live is successful and everything is okay, it's a time to release the old environment. So we can release all the old systems, and it's they can be scrapped, or they can be recycled for another use, or they can be release it from the cloud environment, and we can move it with the new environment of version 8 commerce systems. And after that, we will do the required, it's like once version 8 environment is ready and it's stable, then we can enable the major development projects or CR projects. Our production fixes will start flow in the version 8. Okay, so I will take a few more minutes. Just I will give you a quick overview of the minimized infrastructure approach. So the minimized infrastructure approach is more or less like same as the other one, except dev and quality servers are going out to be reused or recycled for the migration. And staging and production, they will be as it is, and they will become the backup systems for the any emergency developments or anything like that. And development and quality systems will be built with the version 8. I will quickly walk you through this one. So as we are removing the development and quality systems from the landscape, so that's why we are not encouraging any major development activities in the landscape or in the business related development activities, because there is no any system available for the testing or anything. So it's not advisable to move the unstable code or non-tested code to the staging environment. So what we will do is we will remove the development environment from the landscape. We'll recycle it for the version 8. That means we will install it's like full format the machine, and we'll or the virtual machine or the hardware, and we'll set up the separate fresh OS, and we'll start the it's like installation of version 8, and after that migration to version 8. So considering this, removing these systems dev and quality from the environment, you can see that we are not encouraging any major developments like CR or the major projects. And also another important thing is, in case of customers choosing for minimized infrastructure approach, we strongly recommend to conclude all the developments of all the projects in plan or projects in progress before starting the migration, so that there won't be any outdated code or any major re-implementation activities involved, so that all the planned projects will go live, and after that the major migration can be started. So once development environment is ready, then it's a time to go ahead with the quality environment setup, so that we'll remove the quality system from the landscape, and we'll point directly the production fixes to the staging environment. So we'll recycle the quality environment and set up the version 8 in the quality environment, and if any emergency fixes or emergency changes comes in between, they will be moved to the staging environment and tested there, and they will be moved to the production from there, propagated to the production from there. So here we can see that from week 6 onwards, we are not allowing any major projects or major CR implementations, which is going to affect the development track. And if there are any delays or any unforeseen roadblocks for the migration, then it is going to impact the business badly, because there is no much backup systems for dev and quality available. So it is going to stop or hold all the new developments or major developments or major projects that are going to add value to the business. So here we will recommend this approach only in case of there are no much business it's like impacting projects in plan, or the customer is not looking for any much new additions to the business WCS system or commerce system. Then this approach can be adopted. It's more or less like the remaining steps are same as the minimizer code freeze approach. It's like we'll build the staging environment and we'll perform the regression testing in parallel. And after the staging environment is developed and regression tests are signed up, we'll go ahead with the production environment setup, and we'll give the staging environment. We'll hand over the staging environment for the regression tests. Sorry, not the regression tests. It's a business user test. So one thing we can observe here, we are not recommending to it's like recycle the staging environment, because we need to have some fallback option for the production or anything goes wrong. That's why we are recommending customers to use staging and production separately, even though we are going for the minimized infrastructure approach. So I would like to just summarize what we have discussed so far as a quick points. Okay. So as Sandeep mentioned in his points related to planning and analysis phase, it's like there is a lot of coordination involved in the migration projects. Like different teams will be involved in the migration project, so it is always better to plan a strong coordination between all the teams, like infrastructure and network team, or it's like a systems administration team, or from between the development team or the testing team or the business user team. It requires a lot of coordination between the teams. So any delays or any coordination related issues or lag is going to create or impact the timelines of the project, and it may result into the delays. Okay, so and also another important thing is migration timelines are very sensitive to the infrastructure availability. So we should prepare or plan all the infrastructure, it's like enabling all the infrastructure before starting the project, or before, at least before the planning and preparation stage finalization. Okay, so we strongly recommend a minimum code freeze approach than a minimum infrastructure approach, because as it has the strong fallback options, as well as it will reduce the code blocking time or development blocking time. And lots of the customers use it to have a doubt. It's like after the migration, are their system is going to work as it is, or do they need to make any further functional changes to make the system to work? So my answer is like IBM has enabled the lift and shift model. It's like what are the system there in the earlier environment that can be shifted as it is to the new environment with the code level corrections or adjustments, and it will work as it is as earlier in the 7.x version. So first, we should plan the technical migration, like customers who are in the 7 or 6, they should plan it to the migration, technically migrated to the 8 environment and leverage with the performance and all. And after that, any functional migration, like enabling any new functionality or fading out any old functionality and moving to the out of the box features provided in the version 8, or going with any major developments. So that should be planned separately after the technical migration, so that it will reduce the timeline of the migration project. And also it will ease the troubleshooting or any issues that come across. So we can easily trace if the issue is due to the migration or issue is due to some other activity, some other related issues. Okay, so we strongly recommend to customers to plan it as a 2 projects, technically migrate the system and get it live with the as it is look and feel or as it is functionality, and after that plan separate project for migration of user interface or go enabling the new functionality. And we have mentioned the timelines in this document for each phase. They are the tentative timelines based on our experience. Okay, so it's coming around 14 to 16 weeks of timeline. The migration, technical migration, used to take 14 to 16 weeks of time, roughly. In case of any complex or major customized systems, it may take a bit more time. And in the case of we also come across some type of questions from some of our customers saying that, okay, I need to wait for the technical migration for 4 weeks or 4 months, sorry, 4 months. And after that, again, UA migration, again, 3-4 months. So it is going to take around 8 months or maybe 1 year. So it's taking a lot of time to give my new application to the users. Like go-to-market is taking more than expected time. In that case, we are suggesting to the customers to start the UI migration in parallel with the technical migration once the at least a semi-stable or stable build is identified. In the realization phase of technical migration, during the regression test, we can say that build is more or less stable. From there, the UI migration can be started in parallel. So that will help to reduce at least 1 or 2 months of time of the UI migration, so that the go-to-market timeline of the new user interface can be reduced or optimized. Okay, so this is the overall summary of the migration and how you should plan your migration projects. So we are very glad to hear if you have any questions, and please try to type in the webinar. It's like webinar tool panel. There's a Q&A section. Please try to put forward your questions. We are very much open to give the answers related to that one. And Krish, please read out the questions if there are any open questions, so that we'll answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kumar. And I request all the participants to please type in your questions so that we can discuss about the solutions for your questions. So thank you all participants. We have a question. Let me just read out the question. We had different stores with customization for different devices in version 7.x, but here we have only one store for all devices. So how are we going to migrate it? So I'll just now one of our panel members will answer this question. Thank you.
So, hi Ashan, I got your question. So all the mobile devices code will be inside in the web stores. So when we migrate the web stores logic, so automatically all the devices will be migrated automatically to the new WebSphere Commerce 8 version. So I think you got my answer. Yeah, but what about the customized code? The customized code also we will move from the stores. The customized code will be in the stores project. So I mean the web content. So when we move the web content project to the wait version, automatically the customizations also will move.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm,
Yeah.
hi.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes,
Hi.
I can hear you.
So yeah, here is Achal this side. So I
Mhm.
have just query that, for example, we have different stores, and each stores we are using the same file to write the customize and updated the code. And if we are migrating into the WCS 8, then we will have out of box code, right?
No.
So
So okay.
yeah, please.
Thing is here what your code will be in the web content, right? Your customized
Yes.
code. I'm talking about
Yes.
the version 8. We have a customized code in the web content folder, okay, project. So
Yes. Yes.
after installing WebSphere Commerce 8, okay, so we need to
Uh-huh.
move the stores as well. I mean, the old directory, the old project will be moved into the new version. So the out of the box
Okay.
8 version code will be updated with the version 7.0 customization. So we will have a customized code.
Okay, so we will have same directory structure will be in the WCS 8, is it? Means different
Exactly.
directory structure for the different devices, is it?
No, it will have the same directory structure as well as with the 7.0. Your
So,
customized.
so here I am a little confused. Still I am not clear that how we are going to manage it, because we have different directory in 7 and we have the same directory in the 8, and we have the different code in the same file in the different directory for the different devices in the 7.
Mm-hmm.
So if I keep or if I push my old code or old directory into WCS 8, but in WCS 8 we have the same directory for all the devices, right?
So here 8.4 we have come with the existing. We don't have any separate projects, separate folders for devices. They have only maintained only one directory, single directory in 8.4. Once we move the code of 7.4 into the directory 8.4 directory, automatically what we have customization doing we have done in the 7.4 automatically moved to this new version 8.4.
So you
So it will
need to
override the version 8 with the 7.x code.
exactly. So that was my question. So
Yes.
because we already had the different directories, right? And we
Yes.
cannot, we also need the old customized code into WCS 8, right? So we will
Right.
need to keep the different directory structure of 7 into
Mm-hmm.
directory structure of the 8.
It will override.
Yes, and if we are making a new build or we are developing a new project freshly from the WCS 8, then we don't need to create different directory for the different devices, right?
Exactly. Yes. Using
And
we have to
yeah, yeah,
build
yes,
the store on basis of the RWD concept. Like we have to start the project with the from the scratch actually. From the scratch
yes,
we have to publish a new store. On the new store we have to put our new functionality or new customized code on the build on the 8.0 or our store. Hmm?
and in that case we don't need to create a new directories.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
if we have to keep the old customized code as
Mm-hmm.
we have in the 7, then we will need to keep the directory as per the structure of the WCS 7, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, okay, that's it, that's it. That was my question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Is there anything more?
Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you.
Before we conclude the webinar, I would like to request again all the participants to punch in your questions. Or you can also very well write to us at services@increaseall.com. I repeat, it's services@increaseall.com.
Sure, we will have few questions, then I'll come back to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. And it was really nice and educational presentation which we had.
Okay. Okay, thank you all for your time today, and you all have a great day ahead. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep.